Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, Nate's Pink Bookshelf. My name is Nate Denise for those of you who are new to the channel or who just happen to stumble across this video. And today's video is going to be my December book haul. So I have all the books that I have gotten in December here with me, and it's not that many. A good mix of books that I purchased and books that I received for review. So we're just going to dive right in because I don't want this video to be super long. So the first book I'm going to show you guys is actually a book that I got from Goodwill. I picked up 7 books from Goodwill. I have 6 to show you guys because one is a nonfiction. It's already on my shelf. Don't feel like going to grab it. So yeah, so I took about 40 or 50 books off of my shelf and went to Goodwill's, dropped them off, and then of course when you're at Goodwill, you go to Goodwill to find more books. And so I picked up 7 for $7. They were all 99 cents, and I'm excited with what I found. And this first one is a classic. I have this thing where I'm trying to read more classics now that I'm an adult. I will be 30 in 6 months, and I read classics back in high school and middle school, and I enjoyed them then, but I want to see how I feel about them now as an adult, almost in my 30s. And thus I have this one, which I've seen movies for, I have seen shows of, I have read graphic novels of and comics of, but I wanted to read the physical form of it. And luckily this one was actually a critical edition one, which was edited by 2 people, but it's Anne of Green Gables by L.L. Montgomery. I have never ever read Anne of Green Gables, and I have read many comics and graphic novels of it and enjoyed it, so I figured reading the actual book would be great for me, and thus I got this one, which is edited by Mary Henley Rubio and Elizabeth Waterston, and it's a Norton critical edition, like I said. So this one includes the story itself, which is about 261 pages, but then it also includes some background stuff and some criticisms, and yeah, it just has a bunch of random extra tidbits to it. So there are illustrations throughout the book as well, such as this one. And there was another one that I wanted to show, if I can find it. Oh, there it is. This one. And so I wanted to actually read it because I've never read it at all, and I figured it'd be a fun one to read. Here we go. So I picked this up. It's a classic, and we have it. The next 3 books, excuse me, I also got from Goodwill, of course, but this one is actually a YA contemporary, the only contemporary that I picked up, and I've been wanting to read from this author for a while, and finally saw this one for 99 cents, picked it up, and it's going to be Everything from Nicola Yoon. And all that I know is that this is a YA contemporary about a young girl who's, I believe, allergic to the world, and she has to stay home, but she befriends the boy next door, and she begins to explore the world, and I think things are revealed about her disease or stuff like that. I don't really know, but I've been wanting to read this for a while, and I also want to read The Sun Is Also a Star as well and watch the movies. So I figured now that I have this, I can read it and then watch the movie one night. So yeah, we have that. Then I have 2 middle grade fantasies, and so the first one is going to be Inkheart by Cornelia Funke. I have never read the book ever. I've seen the movie, never read it, and again, same thing, I want to actually start reading the official books. Does that make sense? I want to read the books of movies and classics and things like that I've enjoyed as a kid. And thus we have this, and it's a tome. It is over 500 pages long, and I don't mind that at all, and I'm excited for it. And what I remember is that this is the story of a young girl whose father was reading a story to her, and then one of the villains, I believe, jumps out of the book into the real world, and it's just I guess a race to get the villain back in the book or something along those lines. I don't remember, but yeah, I'm excited. Here's the cover of it. Really nice, and we have that. The next book I have is Artemis Fowl by Eion Colfer. I have never read Artemis Fowl ever. Artemis Fowl and Harry Potter were like series I just didn't read as a kid at all. I didn't care to, and thus I do already own book 2 through 6 in hardcover that I picked up in a set from my local library. And when I saw that they had this first book, I was excited because I needed the first book, so now I only need books 7 and 8, but hopefully I will enjoy the series. And all I believe that this follows is is a young boy who is like the villain to the fairies. He gets kidnapped by a bunch of fairies and becomes the villain. So I'm here for it. Villains, fairies, give it to me. So we have this. Okay, so the next 2 books are going to be adult fantasies, and I picked these 2 up from I was about to say Walmart. No, I got both of these from Barnes & Nobles just because I wanted to have them for this year because I want to continue on and start. I want to continue with one series and start another series. And so the series that I want to continue on with is the Witcher series, and I have the actual first official book, Blood of Elves. I have the little novella bind-ups already that I've read and enjoyed, and then I also watched most of the Witcher show. I think I had 2 episodes left, but I never finished it because I didn't want to finish the show. But yeah, we have the actual first book in the series, which is Blood of Elves, and I'm excited to dive into the Witcher. So we have this. We love Geralt. I have played The Witcher 3 almost every night, so yeah, love it. The next one I got is a series that I really want to start because I have tried many times to watch the show. Can't stand the show. I've tried to read the graphic novels. I read the first 2 volumes, I think, and gave up because I hated the graphic novels. I hated them. And thus, Game of Thrones. I own A Clash of Kings already, and I did not have the first book. So I wanted a physical copy of the first book because I feel like it could be a good read. But for me, it does not translate well on TV, nor does it translate well in comic. So I decided to get the physical copy, and I have it. I'm determined to start it. I don't know when I'm going to start it because there's a lot of fantasies that I want to start and finish this year. But yeah, we have A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. I mean, everyone knows what Game of Thrones is about, so I'm not even going to expand on it, but it is historical fantasy. Okay, so the next 2 books are going to also be from Goodwill. I picked these up as well, and this book I actually picked up because a lot of people have raved about it, and it's set to be set around the time of the Napoleonic Wars with dragons, and so it is this book by Naomi Novik, which is His Majesty's Dragon, the first book. They had a bunch of copies of this at Goodwill while I was there, and it was only 99 cents, so I picked it up, and if I do like it, I will pick up the other 2 books in this, which are Throne of Jade and Black Powder War. Like I said, many people raved about it. It has dragons, it's fantasy. I'm here for it, so here we have that. Okay, so the next book is actually a book that was raved about years ago when it initially came out. When did this book come out? 2014. So I think book 1 came out around between 2012 2014. Book 1 came out, and so many people raved about it that I did start reading it, and then I stopped and put it down, but never went back to the ebook of it. And so when I saw that they had the book 2, when they saw that they had the sequel, I figured why not, and then all I need to do is get a copy of book 1 and 3, and that is The Whispers of the Fallen by J.D. Netto, which is Rebellion. This was a highly raved about series when it came out initially. It's about fallen angels, of course, and I want to read it. So we have this. It was only 99 cents when I saw it, and I'm excited for it. So yeah. Okay, and so the next 2 books were actually sent to me for review from HarperCollins because I'm a part of the blog tour for book 3 in this trilogy, and thus I have the first 2 books that they sent to me. So I have Heart of Thorns by Bree Barton, and then also Tears of Frost by Bree Barton. So I have books 1 and 2, gorgeous as ever, and the 3rd book I believe is called Soul of Cinder. Let me make sure I'm giving you guys the right title. It's on the screen if you can see it. Yeah, Soul of Cinder, which is the 3rd and final book if I'm not mistaken, and thus I'm excited for these. I think they are gorgeous covers. Like, this one looks like gold with thorns, and then this one is ice with thorns. Just stunning covers, and I'm excited for these. So yeah, these are YA fantasy novels. Okay, so the last set of books are going to be all Christian related novels. I have 2 Christian fantasies, and then the rest are going to be historical fictions that are Christian based. So the first Christian fantasy that I have is actually more sci-fi dystopian than it is fantasy, but it has fantastical elements. So I would say a sci fantasy, and it's actually book 4 in the series. So this is The Shadowland by Stephen R. Lawhead, and it's a part of the Bright Empires. There are 5 books. This is book 4. I do own book 1 already, and I'm excited to dive into this. I know that one of my sisters on YouTube really enjoys this series so far, and yeah, I love the colors on this. The lavender going into that pink and fuchsia, it's just gorgeous. Here are what the other covers look like. So Skin Map I do own. It's red with orange. I have this book. Then we have this one, which is a house. What is it? The Bone House, the Bone House, the Spirit Well, and then the last one is called The Fatal Tree, which I do want to eventually get my hands on, but I'm going to see how the first book goes before I get physical copies. But this is only 99 cents, so I picked it up. So you have that. The next book is going to be from Sarah M. Schaller, and it's The Genesis of Seven. It's the first book in the Imperium trilogy, and this is all about fallen angels and things like that. So I'm excited to dive into this. Again, I have read this already. My review will be linked down below, and I'm glad to have a physical hardcover copy. It also came with a bookmark, which I already laminated. So the bookmark just says the book cover on the front, and then on the back it says, "In the beginning he was one of us, a brother amongst us in our Imperium domain." So yes, we have that, and the hardcover itself is gorgeous without the dust jacket. Here's what it looks like. So I'm excited for that book. And then we have all of the historical Christian fiction novels. So we're going to dive in. This first one is called The Christmas Angel by Jane Maas, and what I remember is that this follows a guy. It's set in 1875 in Welsh in London. And it follows a guy who makes a Christmas angel for a girl that he's interested in, but eventually something happens where she can't marry him, and so he takes that Christmas angel, moves, and the Christmas angel follows a couple of generations of his family, but there are also gorgeous illustrations throughout the novel. And so I wasn't going to actually keep this and read it. I'm trying to see if I can find another illustration for you guys. But because of the illustrations, I do want to keep it and read it because it looks fun and it looks like a really small read. So we have that. The next one is the Mulberry Leaf Whispers by Linda Thompson. This is actually book 2 in the Brands from the Burning. It does not follow the same characters from the first book, but the main character in this book is connected to the main character in the first book. But I only have this book, and this is set in Japan. Is this? Yeah, it's 1587, World War II Japanese naval officer, a teenage daughter of a legendary Christian samurai. So it just sounds epic. The rival shogun with its sweeping story of passion and faith, of survival and hope. Be prepared to be enriched and moved and deeply satisfied. So I'm excited for that. Excited. Can't wait to read it. So we have this. I have a recent release here, and it's A Cowboy for Keeps by Jody Hedlund, and it is the first book in the Colorado Cowboys. I am not sure when this is set. I think the 1700s or the 1800s in Colorado. 1862. So yeah, the 1800s in Colorado territory. And I mean, honestly, the only reason why I got this book, and all these books, excuse me, I don't know if I mentioned, but they were all sent to me for review from the publishers. And I only got it because this cover. I love anything with purple and lavender, honestly. And he looks kind of cute, so you know, I was like, why not get a nice historical fiction romance? I'm not big on historical fiction, so I figured I would try to get as many as I can to try and read them. If that makes sense, probably not, but it's the book nerd in me, so I got this. Okay, and then this book actually came to me by accident from the publishing company because they were supposed to send us a specific book, but they ended up shipping out the wrong book to everyone. So they told everyone to keep this book and then sent out the correct one. So the wrong one that they sent us is The Still Heart by Jen Turano, the first book, I believe, in the Bleecker Street Inquiry Agency. I think the sequel just came out. Nope, actually I'm lying. This one just came out. So I think the sequel is coming out soon or something along those lines. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be espionage, spies, probably around that, you know, thing. Where is this set? Yeah, New York City, 1886. So in the 1800s in New York. I'm a New Yorker, of course. So I think this is going to be a fun little read. And I like the cover. She looks like she's trying to be innocent, but she's mischievous because she's like trying to steal whatever's in the safe. So I'm excited for that. And then the correct book that they actually ended up sending us was The Dreams of Savannah, which takes place in Savannah, Georgia. And what year? 1800s too, or 1700s? The 1800s, yeah, 1861. And yeah, I don't know much about this, honestly. I just think it's gorgeous. The cover and the dress is gorgeous. So it's from Roseanna and White. I have read 2 books from Roseanna and White already from her Codebreaker trilogy, which I adored. So I need to read book 3 in her Codebreaker trilogy, and then I will probably move directly into this. This is also a recent release from the author. It's coming out, or it's already out. If it's not out, I'll put the correct date on the screen of when it comes out. But yeah, I like the dress for some odd reason. It's really pretty. So we have that. And the final book I have is also Christian historical fiction. This one is set, when is it? The 1700s or the 1800s? 1600s. This one is 1634 in Virginia Colony. And it's called Tidewater Bride by Laura France. I don't know anything about this book. I got this book for review because it sounded interesting. Her name is Selah Hopewell. She seems to be the only woman in Virginia Colony who has no wish to wed. True, there are too many men and far too few women in Jamestown, but Selah, or I think that's how you say her name is Selah because that's how it's spelled, already has her hands full assisting her father in the family shop. Then there's Xander Rennick. I love his name, Xander. He is the most eligible tobacco lord in the settlement. His lands are vast, his crops are prized, and his position as a mediator between the colonists and the Powhatan Nation, I believe. I don't know if I'm saying that wrong, but he's already wed to his business and still grieves the loss of his wife. So I'm guessing the two are gonna link up and connect. So yeah, I have this. So those are all of the books I received. I did get a lot of ebooks, but I'm not going to share those with you guys. I will probably eventually share certain ebooks, like the hype ones that I really want to share. But yeah, that's it. Not a lot of books, and I'm glad about that. But yeah, I'm now going to stick these on my shelf somewhere. And I already have about 10 books to show you guys from this month. So yeah. But that's it for this video. I will see you guys in the next one.